Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by DirectCaterpillar77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Purple First Socks, posted to r/TrueOffMyChest June 26, 2023. I've been lying to my family for 25 years. I guess it's time for me to come clean. Not because I feel too bad for what I've been doing, but because it's possible my eldest son is onto me. I have 3 kids and a wonderful wife. For more than 25 years, our family has loved doing puzzles together. Since we started, I've done something that may seem unsavory to people that don't understand the joy of putting in that final piece. To ensure it was always me, whenever we start a new puzzle, I take one of the pieces and hide it in a green sock that's at the bottom of my dresser. Whenever we get to the very end, we all, once again, lost a piece. We all search frantically until I'm the hero who finds it. Well, this past Sunday, we got to completion once again, only this time, there are 2 pieces missing. We begin searching. It may be my imagination, but my eldest son gave me a look. It was a half smirk. I think he's onto me. Derek, if you're reading this, I have more patience than you do. I'll hold my peace forever if I need to. Find yours first, and let's end this madness. Relevant comments. Data advanced. The battle of wills has begun. OP responds. He doesn't know what he's up against. Blonde4268. Maybe it's you who don't know who you're up against. Winky face. OP responds. You never think that the day is here. I know it's coming though. Edit. A fellow Reddit user PM'd me an incredible idea. I'm going to try and contact the manufacturer and order this missing piece. I'm going to find it when it arrives, then find mine immediately after. I almost feel bad when I consider how truly confused he will be. Thank you, Spock High on Spores! I don't think he's found this thread yet because he hasn't approached me about it, so this could still work. I'm so excited. This will go down in family history. Checkmate. OP edited and updated the following day. Edit 2. Well, folks, I've been duped. I got up this morning, went into the kitchen to get some coffee, and as I walked past the puzzle, I noticed that it had been completed. All pieces accounted for. I calmly and politely knocked on Derek's door and asked him about it. He denied knowing anything about it, like super convincing. I went down back to my bedroom, confused as ever, and just sat in bed with a blank stare. My wife asked me what's wrong, and I told her that the puzzle was completed, and I have no idea how it got done. She literally started laughing like a damn hyena. I've always known about your dumb green sock. I'm in shock. I'm numb, like a damn gut punch. So as it turns out, she's known what I've been doing for the last 10 years. She said she loved watching me walk around thinking I was some criminal mastermind tricking everyone. And that's why she never said anything. She wanted me to have my win, while she secretly left and had her own fun in secret. I don't even know what to say. I'm just processing everything. Like, I cannot believe she's had this over me for so long, and I literally had no idea. She noticed a decade ago that I had just one green sock, since I lost its pair forever ago, and immediately knew something was up with it since I refused to throw it away. I guess that makes sense. I'm an idiot. I've come to the realization that she's actually the master here. It's her house, and I should be thankful she lets me live in it. At least she promised not to tell the kids. So I figured this one would be a bit fun and just kind of a positive palate cleanser compared to some of the stuff we normally cover. This actually led me to find r/BestOf positive updates, which is essentially best of, but they're all positive. And I figured that maybe one of these days I'll take a look at that one and do a best of that's just entirely positive stories and not hell. That might be a nice change of pace for once. Is that something you would all be interested in? This post was collected by DirectCaterpillar77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Dense Entrance 7881, posted to r/AmITheAsshole July 27, 2023. Am I the asshole for contacting my ex-wife's fiancé without his consent? I, 30 female, was engaged to Anthony, 32 male, 4 years ago. Our relationship ended for a number of reasons, but we had been together since high school. we did not have the best ending, and there was a lot of hurt. I moved across the country when I moved out of our shared home. We cut contact following our split and have remained no contact ever since. We have some mutual friends still, so I occasionally receive updates about his life, and I am sure he receives the same. 5 years ago, Anthony's mother Liz passed away after a long illness, and because we were engaged, Liz had given me a letter and a wrapped gift that she wanted me to give to Anthony on our wedding day. It was not specific to our wedding day, but since she knew she would not be there, she decided I should be the one to do it. She asked me to keep it between us. She did not want her ex-husband or other kids to know. 8 months later, when we actually called off the wedding, I had forgotten about these items as I had stored them in my childhood bedroom for safekeeping, and in the midst of moving across the country, I left the items behind, which I am aware was careless. Fast forward to now, and I recently learned that Anthony is engaged to Beth, 30s, and my first thought was that I'm really happy for them and wish them all the best. I then was thinking about our canceled wedding and his mom. I really loved her like a second mom, and I was struck with the sinking feeling that I still had the letter and gift from her, and that I had never returned it to the family. I then remembered Liz asking me to not share it with the other children or ex-husband, and while I was unsure of the exact reason, I think it's because she had done the same for her other children, but I'm not sure who's holding on to their letters and gifts. I brought it up to my husband and explained how guilty I felt about it, still having these things, and I just did not know what to do. Together, we talked through all the different options. I could have called him, but felt it would ruin the surprise on the actual wedding day, which is what his mom wanted. I could have contacted a sibling, but then I feel like it would have ruined their surprise since they're not married yet. I thought about relatives, but I just don't know who. I settled on Beth. It just felt right that Liz wanted it to come from his soon-to-be wife. I reached out to her via social media DM and wrote her an extensive letter detailing what I have stated above. I told her she could do with this information what she wanted, but that I would be in my hometown next month and would love to get these items to her. Apparently, this was the wrong thing to do. She told Anthony about this message, and he's pissed that I reached out to her. He says I have no business contacting his fiancé. I'm torn now because I was honestly trying to honor his mother's wishes and return the items to their rightful owner. I really felt like I was doing the right thing for everyone. Verdict, not the asshole. Relevant comments. Was it a bad breakup? It was not great. I had gotten a job in another city. We both agreed that I should take it, and then he decided at the last minute he didn't want us to go. I ultimately decided to go anyway, and he thought I would stay. He was very angry I did not stay. His version of events is usually that I left him right after his mother died. OP replying to a downvoted commenter, quoting them, "Bringing up his dead mom and talking behind his back to his fiancé are pretty terrible things to do when you could have just sent those items to him." Someone didn't read the fucking post. I guess I figured I could give her the choice to share these things with him on their wedding day instead of robbing him of that moment. I still feel like it was her choice how to go about it since it was intended to be given by the bride at the wedding. This was his mother's intention. Quoting the commenter, "Because if it were really important for you to deliver them because you want to honor his mom, you would have not forgotten about it until it was convenient to you." We called off our wedding and I moved 3 days later. I have only been home to my home state one time since that day, and it was for my brother's wedding, so I did not go to my parents' home where my old bedroom has boxes of things from my canceled wedding, including my wedding dress. I met my husband a few weeks after I moved out, and we got married during the pandemic, so I have not had a ton of time to think about my ex. It was his engagement that made me think about Liz, and then about the gift, and the realization that it was tucked in one of those boxes that I left years ago. Why not just mail the package? I honestly would not have known where to mail it. I do not know where they live, and I do not want to ask any mutual friends because I honestly wanted to keep them out of it. I wanted it to be Beth's decision. Why not tell the ex-fiancée herself or give it to his family? I know I could have reached out to him or his siblings, but not without spoiling his mom's plans. She wanted him to have it on his wedding day from his wife. I was trying to honor her wishes. I thought about all the possible scenarios and chose the one I thought most reflected what his mom would have wanted and also gave everyone a choice. If I told him, it ruins that moment between them. If I told a sibling, it steals their future moment. If I told his dad, I risk him not knowing about any of this and not following through. I thought about his mom's sister, but I'm not sure what the status of that relationship is. The only person I could think of that was in a position to not cause all that collateral damage is the person who is in my former position when the gift and letter were handed over. OP clarifies the letter wasn't written for her, but her ex-fiancé. No, she wrote her son a letter when he was a little boy that he was to open on his wedding day. She planned to give it to him herself, but knew she was not going to make it, so she gave it to me to share with him, with instructions to give it to him at our planned first look. I was not in the position to question a dying woman. I also thought I would be marrying her son, so it seemed like a simple talk. I never thought I would be in the position of having to pass it on to someone else to give him, but here I am. OP on the move, and when the ex told her he wouldn't go. Courtesy of you, Grumblefish. So we were planning the move together before she got sick, since we both originally wanted to get out of our hometown and move to my current city. We put those plans on hold when his mom got sick, and I waited until he was ready to restart our plans before pursuing a job in said city. It was 8 months between his mother's passing and the move. It was 4 months after that he told me he was ready to start the process. He also had a job lined up, but worked for his family business in our hometown, so he could give up the new job without an issue, whereas I had already quit my job. I get that I'm the one that moved, but he's really the one that ended the relationship by changing everything 3 days before we were set to move. I'm not saying he's to blame, but your interpretation of what happened is far from reality. Additionally, he told me 4 days before we were set to move that he wasn't going. I was going because I was starting a new job a week later, and we had given up our apartment and I signed a lease in my new city. We went to bed that night, and I asked him if he would ever join me the next day. He said probably not, so I told him that I think the relationship is over, and we need to call off the upcoming wedding, 3 months away. He was very upset, and he left to stay at his dad's house. The movers arrived the next day, they took my stuff, and I stayed at a hotel near the airport that night for my early flight. I boarded the plane, and I have not been back except to attend my brother's wedding, which was not in my hometown, so I did not return to my parents' home. Update: August 2nd, 2023, 5 days later. In case anyone is interested in an update to the story, so I heard from Anthony again over the weekend, but this time it was a phone call, which I was very surprised about. We've not spoken a word to each other since the day we broke up. Well, he was at a get-together with friends on Saturday, and he was still pretty angry about my reaching out to Beth. He was telling some of the partygoers about the interaction and that I should have never reached out to her. The following is what he told me about their reaction to the conversation. I guess the people he was talking to, not friends I've kept in touch with, thought that he was overreacting. They told him that it sounded like I was trying to fix a mistake that I made and did not mean any harm. So then, his best friend, Mike, asked him why he was really angry. Anthony said this got him thinking about his reasoning, and he realized he wasn't actually mad about my contact with Beth, but the fact that 4 years ago, I actually moved and cut contact. He said that when he decided not to move, he was sure I would change my mind, and that when I left, it was a total shock to his system, and he was really angry with me. I acknowledged that the way I left was horrible, but also implored him to take responsibility that he completely blindsided me and left me with very few options. He apologized for this and for his anger, and I apologized for leaving and cutting contact. I let him know the dates I'll be in town, and I would happily send the items to them if he had given me his address. Instead, he asked if I could come to pick them up, which I said is fine. Overall, it was a good conversation that I'm glad we had. I doubt we will ever be friends, but I'm glad we seem to be at peace with each other. I hope Beth is doing okay. This was like 2 years ago, but I hope she's doing alright. I kind of feel bad for OP because they believe that what they did was terrible, but in all reality, they thought they were going to be moving to a new city with their fiancé. They had everything lined up. New jobs, new places, everything. Then literally days before they were set to begin the moving process, hell, it sounds like the night before the movers showed up, he drops in her that he doesn't want to move anymore. And just fully admitted that he expected her to just fall in tow and not pursue the fact that she no longer had the apartment, that she quit her job, that she had a new job lined up. And he's the one who backed out of it and expected her just to follow suit. And she didn't. And he was self-admittedly angry about that. And it took his friends sitting him down for a conversation that he's overreacting for him to even begin to process any of this, which tells me that the reason why Beth probably reacted so negatively and went straight to the fiancé despite hearing, "Hey, my ex-fiancé's dying mother gave me this to give to him on his wedding day, and I feel like you should be the one to do this." And that turned into, "How dare you contact my fiancé without my permission?" My guess would be he probably sold a sob story to Beth, and by the sounds of it from what OP briefly explained, he pretty much felt she abandoned him days after his mother died, which I'm not going to lie, at first I thought it was mother died, 3 days later, she moved away, but as it turns out, the 3 days was actually in question to him backing out of moving out in 3 days, and it was actually about 4 to 8 months away from the death of his mother. Anyways, I think Beth was probably sold a sob story about how his ex-fiancé just abandoned him to deal with his grief, and leaving out the fact that he was the one who decided to cancel any plans of moving literally the day before the mover showed up. So yeah, I hope Beth is doing okay. This post was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, "I'm keeping the garlic." The original OP is Upper Class Habits, posted May 23rd, 2025 to r/relationship advice. My boyfriend, 31 male, is going away for all of Memorial Day weekend to spend time with his friend, 31 female, in a cabin alone. Looking for advice on a triggering situation that feels all too familiar. My ex, 25 male at the time, and I, 25 female at the time, started as friends at work, and our relationship was great. He was my best friend, but issues came up with his longtime female friends. They'd say, "I love you," sit on each other's laps, and touch each other in ways I felt were inappropriate. Despite expressing my discomfort and asking him to set boundaries, he couldn't. So I messaged the women myself out of frustration, which blew up the situation. Fast forward, my current boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 29 female now, also started as close work friends and developed a strong mutual relationship. We've been friends now for 8 months, officially dating for 4 months. He's a kind, giving person and sees serving others as part of his faith, which I admire. But a situation with his female friend, Olivia, 30 female, is bringing back those same feelings of being second. Olivia, who lives in another state, my boyfriend's home state where he moved from almost a year ago, and knows about me, invited herself for his birthday weekend this Memorial weekend and booked a cabin just for the two of them, Friday to Monday. She's shown no interest in meeting me, and though I was initially supportive, I now feel excluded and confused. He said multiple times that he doesn't even want to go, that he feels trapped, suspects she might have romantic feelings, and wouldn't normally hang out with her this long. But he's going anyway because he feels bad. She has chronic health issues and recently lost her dog. I'm angry and sad. I don't expect to be the center of anyone's universe, but I can't understand why he'd prioritize someone he doesn't even seem close to over me, especially when I've been clear about how this impacts me. I want to be understanding and supportive, but I also want to feel respected and prioritized. How do I approach this without trying to control the situation or sacrificing my own emotional well-being? Some of OP's comments. Commenter: if he feels trapped and has suspicions, then it seems like a trap. Therefore, you ought to go too. It's his birthday weekend. Why wouldn't you be there? Good luck. OP responds, she told him that she doesn't want to be put in a position to have to explain her chronic health conditions to someone she doesn't know. Mind you, her entire health history is regularly posted about on her public Facebook, and doesn't want to have to pretend she's okay when she isn't. I speculate this might be more in regards to her potential feelings about he and I being together. Commenter: so he feels bad if he disappoints her, but is okay with disappointing you. That tells you all you need to know about his potential as your boyfriend. OP downvoted. See, I don't know if it's about disappointing her so much as he, and this is going to sound awful because it is, sees her as somewhat of a charity case. If he thinks he's in a position to help someone, he wants to. But I think she's unnecessarily leaning on him as her primary support, even though she has so much support locally. And he's enabling her behavior by agreeing to this. Commenter: he's still putting her before you. It's especially bad since you said he suspects she's interested in him romantically. This is his chance to set her straight. Instead, his behavior is keeping her engaged. OP responds: that was my thought, but I was dreading the facts. Commenter: maybe try telling him the truth that if he goes on this trip, it'll be the end of your relationship. If he won't put her in her place, even when he's uncomfortable, then she'll always be around. Do you really want to put up with her forever? It's only been 4 months, and you can already see it coming. Is it worth it? OP responds, I don't think so, and I think this is definitely proving to be a litmus test. I can't stand to be someone who doesn't learn from her past experiences. Commenter. He thinks she has romantic feelings for him. He doesn't want to disappoint her, and it's his birthday. Agreeing to a weekend in a cabin alone with her will do nothing to help the situation. He's okay with disappointing you. Run. Don't walk away from him. Yes, it's only been 4 months, but he's in a relationship. He shouldn't be spending the weekend alone with someone that has feelings for him, especially when that someone isn't his girlfriend. OP responds, downvoted. Funny enough, he and I have both talked about how there's no way in hell he'd ever be with someone like her romantically. His last girlfriend of 7 years also cheated on him, so he has literally no tolerance for cheating. So I'm actually not worried about that at all. It's purely the disrespect I feel from her, whether intentional or not, and his seeming disregard for my feelings given that I've expressed all of this to him. I don't want to be the person to tell him to do the dickish thing and cancel last minute, even though I was almost willing to suggest I pay her for his half of the cabin so he wouldn't need to go. Commenter. No offense, but you are being so naive. Are you sure his ex really cheated on him? If he was cheated on, he wouldn't try to downplay what it means spending days with another woman alone. He's going to a romantic getaway with a woman who he knows has feelings for him. She may not be his type. That wouldn't stop most guys from sleeping with a woman, though. You need to pay attention to his actions rather than his words. He's playing both of you. Who knows what he's saying about you to her? Is she being told that you're a charity case? OP responds, downvoted again. I'm confident about his ex cheating for many reasons, and I think that's why he didn't say no. Because he knows nothing would happen in that regard, so he thinks it's a non-issue to go because I have nothing to worry about. Again, that was never my concern, and I think his past experience is giving him tunnel vision on the issue being cheating rather than the disrespect of the entire situation. Many updated in the comments the next day in response to a commenter saying she's really stretching for excuses for him. So I got the diagnosis from the doctor. It turns out that I actually suffer from a chronic condition called delusion. Sparkle emojis. Update post, May 24th, 2025, a day after the original post. Update. I offered potential solutions, I offered compromises. I was clear with what exactly was bothering me, and that I would never put him in this situation. I told him he would be so incredibly hurt, and rightfully so, if I did this to him. I told him he could decide for himself what he wants to do, and I told him what I wouldn't be tolerating from a partner. He acknowledged and agreed that everything I was saying was true. Then he went, because he wants to get out of the habit of being so flaky, and made a commitment so he has to go. I texted him that I'll always love him, now only, as a friend, like I told him from the very beginning. Now, I'm not even sure I can or want to. Love is a choice. The opposite of love is indifference, and he's all but told me he's indifferent to me, both as a partner and as a friend. Thanks for the tough love, Reddit. I'd rather be angry at him, at myself, for not seeing this coming, than be sad while he feels absolutely nothing. Edit to add, yes, I ended it. I can't even think about him or the situation without being angry. I look forward to when the anger turns to indifference. Some of OP's comments. Commenter, good on you, OP. Did he respond to your text? Sorry, but there is no way. What he did was the right choice. He dismissed your feelings completely. He never gave a crap. OP responds. He very ignorantly replied, does this mean you're ending the relationship? And then patronizingly said, I admire you for putting up your boundaries. It's more than I've certainly done. Commenter. Why would you love this asshole even as a friend after he did this to you? Just go no contact and forget this person. He doesn't care about you at all. OP responds. In between sending that and now, he replied with nothing but patronizing support for my ability to set the boundaries he couldn't. He fully acknowledged what happened and responded with indifference. That's all since made it impossible for me to want anything to do with him. Commenter. Really just cheated on you in front of your face, huh? What a piece of shit. Opie responds, I speculate he feels content because he didn't lie about anything. Commenter, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He can't say no to a holiday weekend getaway because her dog died. Next, it'll be, he couldn't turn down her offer to bang all weekend because she was sad about her dog. Tell him to enjoy his holiday weekend, but after the holiday, he'll need to find himself a new girlfriend. I spent way too much time married to someone who prioritized helping/pleasing other people and putting me on the back burner. It will never get better. Opie responds, I'm laughing even admitting this, but my last ex, his friend's dog had also just died. I think I need to start being more observant about whether my future partner's friends have any dogs that might be on the brink of death. Commenter, our work is done. Opie responds, sometimes you really do just need a group of unbiased strangers to tell you what you should already know. Okay, this is a genuine question on my end. Is the general consensus on this one that yes, he in fact was probably going to end up having sexual relations with this woman in this cabin? And to some of you, that might just sound like a, well, yeah, obviously, duh. I mean, he knew that she had romantic feelings for him, booked a 3-day-long stay in a cabin during his birthday, and was committed to going despite his girlfriend's protests. The only reason why I bring this up is because about a year ago, and this has haunted me for this year, which is why it's being brought up now, there was a post that involved a very similar circumstance where a guy's girlfriend had went on a camping trip with her girlfriend's boyfriend, and this guy that was also her work mentor that was visibly shocked when she found out that she had a boyfriend. They had gone to the camping trip for multiple days, had rented jet skis, a day boat, and all this stuff, and it genuinely seemed like that she was seeing Mike on top of the long-distance relationship, and I stated that, granted very bluntly because I was sleep-deprived. And from what I remember, he attempted to bring this forward that he had a discomfort with Mike, but she brushed it off and wouldn't let him even broach the subject. And a lot of the comments were commenting on the fact of, Oz, you're allowed to have friends of the opposite sex. And yes, I've got a pretty 50-50 split on guy friends and gal pals. I've literally gotten pedicures at a mall with one of my gal pals while her boyfriend was in a fucking lids. I know this. And it's because of it that for a year, that post had haunted me. And when this one popped up and it felt eerily similar, I'm kind of in the boat where, is this gonna be a repeat of that situation? Or is there a fundamental difference between the two of them that I just can't see because of the tism? I just remember the story because I was genuinely distraught over what are they seeing that I'm not? This is actually a pretty common trend on this channel where I'll have a take that I think is, solid because it's how I interpreted the post and in my head it makes sense, and then I see the comments and realize, oh, I fucked something up. Or I'll see the comments and go, how is everyone coming to this conclusion? What am I not seeing here? And I don't know. It bugs me sometimes because I genuinely try to figure out how the fuck I missed something. And it eats at me. Because I try to do right by you guys. And when I fuck up like that, I feel like I've kind of failed in a sense. This post was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, I'm keeping the garlic. The original OP is Topical Neil. Posted to r/mytheasshole April 25th, 2025. Am I the asshole? Told my coworker that she's falling for a romance scam and now she's upset. My friend, let's call her Nancy. Nancy and I worked together for 3 to 4 years at a hair salon. Nancy's in her early 30s. Kind of an airhead, gullible, but a really kind and nice person. She's currently in a relationship with this guy for about 6 months. He lives in New York, we're in the Midwest. They talk on the phone all the time. He's been out here a couple of times to visit, we've never met, but heard a lot about their relationship. This morning, she texted me at 6 a.m. asking to borrow $10,000 because her boyfriend's mom has a family emergency and needs the money soon. She said he's working on an offshore oil rig in Dubai for 2 months and couldn't transfer the money until he's come back to the state. She doesn't have the money, so she asks if I can ask my relatives for the $10K for her. I told her that this sounds like a romance scam, and that if he's asking her for such a big amount of money like that early in their relationship, it's a red flag, and she should reconsider. I told her that since I don't know her boyfriend that well, and if he ghosts her, either me or her will be on the hook for that $10K. Now, she won't answer my text or call. She also took a personal day from work today. Am I the asshole? Should I have kept my mouth shut and mind my own business? Edit 1. 1. Yes, she is very naive and gullible. She believes she can talk to ghosts and spirits. That's another can of worms that I won't get into. 2. She didn't bring her boyfriend around when he was in town, a couple of times. Just a bunch of excuses. 3. I told her sister about it and got an earful about how I shouldn't judge a person in need like that. I gave up. 4. I sent a few articles about sweetheart and pig butchering scams. Still no reply. I know she read it. 5. She's not the type that's loaded. She lives with her parents in their basement and lives paycheck to paycheck. I hope she will realize this is a scam before she's in debt. This will be an expensive lesson. Thank you for letting me vent. Edit 2. Same post, sometime after April 27th, 2025, a few days later. Edit 2. She just texted and asked for the money under the guise of her sister needing it. It was a flat no. I feel bad for her. I told other coworkers and my boss about it so they can say no to her and maybe she'll understand from a group perspective that we're trying to protect her. Update. Same post, May 14th, 2.5 weeks from the original post. Edit 3. Update. What we, me and Redditors, suspected was true. She was in a romance scam. She's never met her boyfriend in person, they only talk online. She said she was lonely and was afraid of being alone. She said her boyfriend stopped contacting her after she couldn't get the money and started asking simple questions like no internet on the rig, satellite phone, etc. After that, she realized that he was scamming her. She started telling me about how she had been sending him small amounts of money like $50 to $500 in the past 6 months to help him out with some small emergency. When he ghosted her after she couldn't help him with the $10K, then she realized that she had been romance scammed. I'm glad that she saw it for what it was. OP is certainly not the asshole here, even if to the person that they're trying to help they can come off as kind of the monster, because the way these scams work is they entirely operate by taking advantage of people who are lonely or desperate. We've spoken about these at length in the past, but if you're ever curious to get more information on what a pig butchering scam is, John Oliver has an amazing segment where he dives into it, and some of the tragedies that follow, where oftentimes the people who are perpetuating the scam are actually being forced to do so. And it's messy, but it's definitely worth taking a look at if you have the time. Even if you yourself may not be susceptible to falling for one, knowing the signs could be very important so you can help prevent someone from falling for them. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.